see, the thing is, there's a reason why I've been alone all this time. I'm comfortable that way. And I think it would just be a lot easier if we forgot everything that happened.
That would be easier.
Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Summer's Child and today we're watching a movie called The Proposal. Margaret is a very harsh boss. Everyone in the office is afraid of her. They call her the witch because she's tough and demanding. But since she's a Canadian working in the US, her visa application was up for review.
Deported? Come on, it's not like I'm even an immigrant.
A solution has to be found, otherwise she'll lose her position with the company, her status as the manager, and her entire life she built. So while being shocked with all of that, the answer to all of her problems comes walking in.
We're getting married.
Who is getting married?
You and I. We are just two people who weren't meant to fall in love, but we did.
No.
Did.
Andrew, her assistant/doormat, requires an explanation, please. So she lays it on him, frank and cold. They're tied up to the hips together, and he better be happy.
I'm not gonna marry you.
If you don't marry me, your dreams of touching the lives of millions with the written word are dead.
The immigration employee was onto their little fib, but lo and behold, both of them are terrific liars, and it doesn't hurt that they know so much about each other working side by side, horrifying the loving crap out of each other every day. Who said real love does not exist?
Why am I doing all the talking? Jump in.
You're gonna go to Alaska this weekend?
That's where my Andrew's from.
Andrew isn't as spineless as Margaret has thought. He puts his foot down and comes up with a long list of demands to finally make his dream come true after working so hard for many years for this monster.
Ask me nicely to marry you, Margaret.
Would you please, cherries on top, marry me?
Okay, I don't appreciate the sarcasm, but I'll do it.
They fly to his parents' home all the way up to Alaska, where Margaret meets his granny, who has heard so much about her from poor Andrew.
Now, do you prefer being called Margaret or Satan's mistress?
They exchanged banter like an old married couple if that couple hated each other with a fiery passion and couldn't wait until death did them part.
She insists on doing it all herself. She's one of those, she's feminist.
Andrew's parents are loaded. Cha-ching! But he and his father don't see eye to eye. On the account of daddy here keeps putting down his one and only heir. So this is why he's been taking all of Margaret's crap for many years trying to make it on his own. Gotta admire any man who stands up to an abusive, narrow-minded spawner.
Just never figured you for a guy who slept his way to the middle.
No. She's not my meal ticket, Dad. She's my fiance.
What'd you say?
You heard me.
Family and friends have gathered to meet the son whom they haven't seen for many years, due to his cruel boss commandeering his every vacation. And upon hearing the happy news of their beloved Andrew being engaged to the devil woman, all of them ask for the proposal story.
I thought he was seeing someone else.
This woman's about as subtle as a gun.
He was scared, like a little tiny bird. He said to me,
Margaret, will you marry me? And she said, yep. In the end. I was hungry.
Since the overjoyed relatives cancelled the happy couple's hotel room, now they have to share one. Because this blackmail hostess situation isn't awkward enough.
Those are the pajamas you decided to bring to Alaska.
thank you.
Andrew's dad is without an heir. Goodness me, how did this happen? Is it because he hasn't been supportive of his son's aspirations? Pro tip, maybe don't belittle your only child's years of work to convince him to take over your business? Maybe?
I wish you had another son, I really do. One who wanted to take over the family business, but it's not me.
Now, if that's what makes you happy, son, I got nothing to say.
Andrew has an ex whom he left behind in Alaska when he went to New York to pursue his not going anywhere without blackmail career. And she seems to regret letting go of the one and only cool man on God's green earth. But hey, at least he's happily engaged now, or so she thinks.
Well, I mean, we dated in high school and all through college. He proposed and said he wanted to elope and run away to New York with me.
You said no.
Andrew's parents asked the couple if they would get married on his grandma's birthday the next day. And for the sake of their ridiculous ruse, they agree and the poor man panics.
I've always wanted to get married in a barn.
I have. When my mom finds out that this whole thing is a sham, she's gonna be crushed, and my grandmother's gonna die.
They're not gonna find out, okay? Just relax. It's gonna be okay.
Margaret gets a glimpse of Andrew speaking to his ex and she gets a little jealous. You know, as you do when you have a sham marriage.
She looked really pretty today.
It's definitely good to see her. Yeah, it's been a long time.
All the love Margaret felt from Andrew's family was intake overload for a woman who's been an orphan living on her own since ages ago. So she freaks out, absolutely hating the idea of all of these lovely people being shocked when discovering her sham. And while all that is running through her mind, she falls off a boat into the freezing Alaska seawater, and Andrew rescues her from it and then warms her body up, just as this entire trip has done to her cold heart.
I've been on my own since I was 16 and I forgot what it felt like to have people love you.
You're not screwing it up. I agreed to this. Come here. I gotta get warm. That's okay.
His wet blanket of a father flew the immigration officer to Alaska, believing him that this wedding is a sham and encouraging his son to simply admit it. What a great way to get your son to love and respect you and listen to you when you ask him to drop everything and come back home to be your heir. Give that man Dad of the Year award, not.
You want a statement? I've been working for Margaret Tate for 3 years. We fell in love. I asked her to marry me. She said yes. I'll see you at the wedding.
Overwhelmed with all the love, the wonderful people, and how ethical and upstanding Andrew is, Margaret couldn't simply ruin his life like that. So she stops the wedding and confesses everything in front of everybody, including the immigration officer.
I blackmailed him to come up here and to lie to you. And I thought it would be easy to watch him do it. Turns out it's not easy to ruin someone's life once you find out how wonderful they are. It was a business deal, and you held up your end, but now the deal is off.
Andrew tries to wrap his head around what just happened. He follows his bride to the room where she left him a note saying how much of an excellent worker he is, and that sends him into a spiral. So his ex checks up on him to see what he's planning.
See, the problem is that this woman is a gigantic pain in my ass. She just makes me go crazy.
So you're just gonna let her go?
Man, Granny is a player. She fakes a heart attack so she can get Andrew and his stickler dad to make up. Then she's up and about again. I guess the spirits will never take her. She's just that much fun.
No need to take us to the hospital. Take us to the airport, please.
You know we're not authorized to take you to the airport.
Larry Ferris, don't make me call your mother.
Got it.
For a romantic final scene, he follows her to work and instead of going down on one knee and be like, baby, you're my forever girl, he's like,
I loathed you. I used to dream about you getting hit by a cab. Things changed when we kissed. But I didn't realize any of this until I was standing alone, wifeless.
But fear not, he comes to his senses and he says the words we've been waiting to hear.
Marry me. Because I'd like to date you.
You don't really want to be with me.
Yes, I do.
It's an okay movie, fun to pass the time with, and Ryan Reynolds is always a plus, let alone with Sandra Bullock. The message to take out of this movie is, if your dad has a lot of money, you can use that money to publish your own book, instead of working for a monster of a boss who's afraid to promote you so she wouldn't lose a dedicated assistant. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. See you very, very soon. Bye-bye.